Rachel Gupta,
And so I feel
mantan
pretty bad when
pemegang
people
title
ask me
Miss
this,
Grand
why did you stop
International
your
2024,
advocacy?
membuat
Because like
klarifikasi
I
video
wasn't allowed
mengejutkan
to.
melalui
And what
kanal
is the
channel YouTube.
point of winning, of having
Pribadinya
followers, of
berdurasi
people
hampir
listening
1
to you?
jam.
What's the point of
Simak
wearing India
penjelasan
over
Rachel
here?
mengapa dia
And
mengundurkan
if you
diri
can't
dari
actually
pemegang
help
title
in
juara
any
Miss
way,
Grand
you know,
International
it's
2024
completely useless.
yang kabarnya posisi Rachel
And
sendiri
I
sudah
remember after
digantikan oleh
winning,
first runner-up-nya
they called us
yang
down to
berasal
the
dari
MGI
Filipina, CJ
headquarters,
Opiaza.
okay? And they gave us all our contracts 1 or 2 days after winning, I'm not sure when. And I don't know if I can explain that situation properly, but when they gave the contract, it was like a gun to the head. Okay, it was their pen, their paper, their office, their contract, their rules. And we were expected to just sit down, shut up, and sign it. That's it. I remember I personally stepped aside out of the meeting with all the girls to have a conversation about the contract because mine was different. And I had a couple questions. I wanted to see if there's, you know, anything I can like negotiate, because the contract is obviously very one-sided. Like it's only there to protect them or benefit them. It doesn't guarantee me or promise me anything. It doesn't protect me or protect my rights in any way. But it's like the whole world is like India had just won for the first time, and I was seeing people's reactions, and everybody was so proud, and there was so much support, and everybody was so excited. There's no question of, hey, I can't sign the contract. You know, you have to. The whole world is watching you. You just won. You have to sign it. There's that pressure. And the way they approach the situation is like, you sign it. If you don't want to sign it, no problem. You can leave. That's the attitude going into it. I asked, I'm like, you know, can we negotiate this at all? Can I request that we discuss this? You know, my lawyer would want to maybe read it and negotiate. And Teresa was like, no. She's like, if you have a problem, if you don't want to sign it, don't sign it. Tell me right now. You can leave. And so I realized like there's no negotiating this. You just sign it. That's it. They just want girls to feel lucky that, you know, you've been chosen by us, and you just sign it. That's it. And of course, the prize money was promised to me to be paid, like the monthly stipend and then the total amount at the end of my reign. But I just received the first stipend for the first month, and that's it. Like I never saw another penny after that, and so I had to handle, or my parents had to handle, all the expenses that came with it. And so every time I travel, like I have to take care of my own food. Of course, they do the flights and hotel, but if something is not done, like it's your responsibility to take care of it 100%. You know, and they don't provide you with outfits or anything. Like some of the if you get invited to a country, I've only been to one, by the way, so I don't know how this works exactly, but the country that calls you, the ND, will provide you dresses for events while you're there, but everything else is your own responsibility. And it's so difficult because when you go into it, you think, hey, like I've just become Miss Grand International, they're gonna take care of my wardrobe, they're gonna take care of hair and makeup, they're gonna take care of everything for me. But that's not true. You're still completely on your own for everything. And of course, my reign was particularly difficult for me because of the issues with my national director and the international organization. So when I competed at Miss Grand India, I competed under Glamanand, who was the Indian National Director organization. And I signed a contract with them, as every girl does in every country. And I would be represented by them in India. And then after I won, they had a personal issue with Miss Grand International. They had a falling out, like so many national directors did. And they lost their license for India. So although I was signed to them in India, Miss Grand would not allow me to work with them at all. So I couldn't work at all, basically. And I remember I had been queen for less than 2 months the first time they threatened to dethrone me. And they just use this thing of dethronement, of taking the crown away, as blackmail. And they use it to manipulate me for everything. So like, you can't bring up a single issue with them because they will just like say that we'll take your crown away. And it was so impossibly difficult for me. Like, after Glamanan lost their license, there was a new license holder in India, all right, some star or something. And they were supposed to do my whole homecoming. You know, we had multiple conversations in December leading up to my homecoming where I was planning it with them. I had big plans. They had big plans. They promised so many things. We were all so excited, you know. But the date of my homecoming kept coming closer and closer. And there was nothing was materializing, you know. And up until the moment I landed in the airport in Delhi for the homecoming, these people, the new organization, hadn't even taken permission from the airport authorities to host my homecoming there. Like, can you imagine? My plane has landed, I'm coming out, there's no permission. I'm blessed that my dad, he was there, he handled everything. He called his own contacts, you know, the marshals in the airport, or I don't know what, but he got at the last minute the permission for us to have the homecoming there. Otherwise they wouldn't have let anybody stop in the airport. They wouldn't have let the crowds in. They wouldn't have let the band or the, you know, the pundits who were doing the prayer, the roses, the flowers, everything, the red carpet. None of that would have been allowed. And he did it last minute, all on his own, with no support. Same for my Jalandhar homecoming. My dad had planned this amazing, like, a parade with like circus performances and like media, news, everything. Like, he arranged it himself. Neither did Miss Grand International do it, nor did the new national organization do it, you know. They just came, they took their photographs, they posted everything first with their watermark on it of my event, my homecoming. They took credit for everything, and then they left. In fact, they left in the middle of my press conference here because they had their content. They didn't need anything. They literally left in the middle. So, and now they're using my photograph everywhere to promote their event, and they didn't do anything for me, you know. Like, I was left completely alone. I couldn't work with the people I had a legal contract with Glamanand, and because MGI and the new people wouldn't allow it, and I couldn't work without Glamanand either because that's who I have a contract with. So I'm literally stuck over here. And when I'm in India, like, there's nothing I can do because of these issues and just constant threatening messages from MGI saying we'll take your crown away. I had to let go of so many opportunities, big interviews by like I don't even know if I can say. I had to let go of a lot of really, really big opportunities simply because I wasn't allowed to take them. I couldn't because I was stuck. And so all the comments that are like calling me jobless and like saying, you know, why is she not doing anything? Why is she not posting? Why is she not updating? Why are there no appearances? Literally because I wasn't allowed to. And can you imagine how difficult and stressful it was for me? Because when you win, you expect your life to change overnight. That's what I expected. You expect that everything is going to be perfect and you're going to get all these opportunities and offers and it's all going to work out. But that's not the case. That is not the case at all. And I had to struggle and fight, and I had to sit home and do nothing because I had to say no to everything that was offered to me in India. So whatever duties were given to me by MGI, I did all of them. I was at every event. I did everything. I did not work outside of them at all. All right. At most, I would do 1 or 2 unpaid things because like I'm not getting paid, so I'm allowed to do it, you know.